Hi, welcome to the Nth Degree, where we're talking about the latest trends, technologies, and innovations happening across the healthcare and media spaces. I'm Amanda Brito, and today I'm joined by Walter Schmidley, Vice President of Paid Social, and Vanessa Lehman, Vice President of SEO. As we know, search is changing completely into an online conversation happening across social media platforms. So let's learn from our experts about what that means and how pharma and health brands can get involved. Hi, Vanessa. So good to have you here today.
Hi, thanks, Amanda.
Sure. So let's hear what insights you have to share around how consumers are engaging on social and what you mean by the conversation is social.
So historically, people go onto Google or a search engine, Bing, type in some words, a query, and then they get a result, and that comes back and they head to the website. Now we're seeing more and more users actually go to TikTok, to Instagram, to look for that information and get other users to give them that answer. And we're actually seeing that increase even from just last year, where 40% of Gen Z was doing this. Now we're seeing about 46%. And in pharma specifically, we're jumped up to over 70% of HCPs who are using social to find information.
Those are incredibly interesting stats. Thanks for sharing this. Walter, from your perspective, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, absolutely. I think social and search have always been linked. It's just that over the last couple of years, especially with the entrance of platforms like TikTok, it has been increased in prevalence, and people go directly to something like a TikTok to get a very specific question answered. I think where we see a new development now is that the platforms on their end are really doubling down on this as well. So really seeing the platforms from their end kind of jumping on this trend and trying to utilize their audience data as much as possible.
That's interesting. So let's stay with that. What are you both seeing in terms of what consumers are searching for and how the search landscape has evolved? And to your point, Walter, how social is getting more involved?
I think on the social side, very important, obviously, from the TikTok's end, they started rolling out keyword-based advertising, for instance, to really benefit off this user behavior. This isn't strictly speaking new. X, formerly known as Twitter, has leveraged that approach in the past, but really from TikTok's end, seeing more emphasis on that. I think in addition to that, platforms like Reddit, with its enormous amount of user-generated content, have also increased in relevance and importance to a user's search engine. So from that perspective, seeing many different platforms react in different ways to this trend.
I'll say from an organic side, we're seeing mostly people amending their searches with social. So they'll do, where can I find such and such Reddit? That's the one that we see the most. I think the other part of the evolving of the search engine is the introduction of generative AI, and that pulling from social and affecting how social works as well. But mainly we're just seeing people go on Google to find their answers on social.
All right. So given all of that, what can brands do to stay relevant in this space and adjust to this changing landscape? Vanessa, how about from you first?
So it's really important first to look at the data, where now we have more access to Reddit specifically data. And as we pull from that, we start to understand the user journey, how they are changing, and they are. As we get that information, we can shift our keyword focus. We can look at how is our content responding to those queries? Are we using very semantic language? Are we giving them the snippets that they need? Because the attention span has always been quite low, but it's even lower now.
In addition to that, just making sure the message that clients are trying to get out there are actually represented on social in the form of either organic content or even through paid messaging, and just playing across the aisle to make sure that SEO and social are aligned and reflecting the same content across different channels and really providing that omni-channel experience for people.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for those insights and for this conversation today. It's such an exciting and evolving landscape, especially for health and pharma brands. Thanks for watching The Nth Degree. Don't forget to like and subscribe.